Trump's mass deportation plan raises serious legal and ethical questions. Is it lawful to target specific groups like Chinese or Indian nationals? Under international law, mass deportations could violate human rights, especially if due process is ignored. If the US deports thousands of Indians, what's to stop India from retaliating? This cycle of reciprocal deportations could strain diplomatic relations and escalate tensions. Moreover, the US has a history of destabilizing countries, leading to the very immigration crises it seeks to manage. By creating chaos abroad and then deporting those affected, the US risks losing trust globally. Countries like India and China might respond by limiting cooperation or even retaliating. The US must recognize its role in the global immigration system and work towards solutions that address root causes rather than punitive measures. The world is watching and the stakes are high. Trump's mass deportation plan raises questions about legality under both domestic and international law. US immigration laws allow for the deportation of individuals who are in the country unlawfully, provided due process rights are respected. However, large-scale expedited deportations risk violating constitutional rights if due process is bypassed or if decisions are made arbitrarily. Under international human rights law, deportations must not violate treaties like the 1951 Refugee Convention, which prohibits returning individuals to countries where they may face persecution. Large-scale deportations targeting specific ethnic groups could also violate principles of non-discrimination. If the US were to deport large numbers of citizens from specific countries like China or India, governments could respond in kind by deporting US nationals or imposing sanctions. While such actions are technically legal under sovereign law, they could severely strain diplomatic relations. Reciprocal actions may escalate tensions and lead to broader consequences, such as trade restrictions, visa bans, or suspension of bilateral agreements. Criticism of US foreign policy and immigration practices often centers on human rights violations. Policies perceived as targeting specific nationalities or ethnic groups can erode trust in the US as a proponent of human rights. Critics argue that US involvement in conflicts and resource extraction has destabilized regions, leading to migration crises. The erosion of trust in immigration systems is a complex issue involving multiple actors. While the US plays a significant role, it is not the sole contributor. Global migration is influenced by conflicts, often involving multiple nations, economic disparities between developed and developing countries, and failures of international cooperation to manage migration equitably. Countries like India and China might respond to mass deportations by limiting cooperation on global issues, retaliating through economic, diplomatic, or military means, or pursuing cases in international forums such as the United Nations or the International Court of Justice if they perceive violations of international law. US foreign and immigration policies have historically been a mix of strategic interests and humanitarian goals. However, actions perceived as unilateral or unjust often attract global criticism. As a major global power, the US bears a unique responsibility to uphold international norms and promote stability. Sustainable solutions require addressing root causes of migration, such as economic disparities, climate change, and conflicts, rather than punitive measures. Mutual respect and cooperation between nations are essential to prevent escalation and maintain global stability. Your concerns highlight the interconnectedness of global politics, economics, and human rights. While the US has significant influence, collaborative international efforts are necessary to create a fair and just global system. Addressing migration, human rights, and geopolitical tensions requires dialogue, compromise, and long-term solutions that benefit all parties involved.